Hello, it's Scree Runner. Welcome to another video, this time on the AMX 31er 1ER prototype 1er. It's easier to say 1er, isn't it? So here we have a video that I put together earlier today when I was sat on a plane, and I've since had a few drinks and I can't remember what happens in it. So first of all, let's look at the stats of the tank. It's what are the bits I wanted to mention there? View range. I've got coated optics on it. It takes view range out to 302 meters, which I don't know if it's actually good or not. I think it's pretty good, which allows you to get lots of spots. Rate of fire 8.39. I haven't got. I've gone for calibrated shells on this as opposed to rammer. So I think 8.39 is fair cop, and the calibrated shells helps when you get to top tier games, i.e. tier 10. Yes, that's right, Johnny. Well done. We moved off that already. What was else we going to say? Oh crap! Moving on to the next thing. I was going to say it has reasonable pen on the gun, same as quite a few of the tier 9s, but the alpha is a little bit lower than some of the others. Anyway, moving on to armor inspector, we're looking at a tier 8 firing on us. See, that doesn't look too good, does it? Tier T44 firing on us. There we go. So this armor profile, I think, is for the PC version, because I think the commander's hatch on this looks a lot larger than it does on the Blitz version. Plus, it doesn't have a machine gun sat on top of it in Blitz. So, but the things to take away from this are the gun mantlet is unimpenetrable. The roof is very thin, but it's such an angle that you get auto bounce, and a lot of the upper glasses, the upper hull is once you get angled on a hill is auto bounce territory as well. The things to watch are that driver's hatch, which again I don't think is that big on Blitz, and a lot of questions. Ooh, the side's not so good, not so good. Let's move away from the side. But you can see here, whilst we're on it, I've remembered this, gun depression, 10 degrees. Pretty awesome. So, you know, when you look at that, if you can come up over a little crest, there isn't much to hit on it. If you take away half of that commander's hatch, there isn't a lot to hit on there, really, is there? Let's move to a tier 9 M103. Looks like we're having with a tier 10 gun, and even the M103 with a tier 10 gun, you know, it's still got problems penning you if you learn to angle it correctly, or basically, when I say angle correctly, what I mean is put it over a rise. Use a ridge line, and then you're absolutely laughing, and you get auto bounce after auto bounce even on that skinny armor. However, there are soft spots, but that's why you have a medium to be able to move around and wiggle pretty darn quickly. Moving on to HE with the same tank, you know, from the front, again, it's pretty hard, but this is the problem with this tank. Side on, you're just absolutely doomed, and from the rear, absolutely doomed. You got like 30 or 40 mil of armor there, and even if we go down to a tier 8, am I doing it? Did I do it? HE, there we go. Well done. It's very penetrable. So yeah, it's not one that you're going to get caught out by a tier 10 tank destroyer that's ready and loaded HE anyway. So here we are on Castilla. now the tank has enough power without any boosters to get up that rise. But I think I've put together a little montage of me dying a few times because I love this tank. I do love this tank. However, when I first got it, I played way too aggressively in it, and and I put myself in positions that I shouldn't have been in. So it's got that great turret, but on the flip side, it's got that horrible hull, and it is not a tank to be aggressive in any form until the end game. It's almost like a second line tank. It's just like keep it out of the way, nurse it, play with ridge lines as much as you can, and don't put it in any position that you're going to get in harm's way. So here we are, Castilla. I'm going to wait for him to come out, but as you can see at the moment, on the other side of the map we've got our two heavies, I think an E75 and an IS3, and they spotted two reds over there. Now I've just got rid of one red, so that leaves another four reds somewhere. And where can they be? So I pick back up. This is when I should have been backpedaling as fast as possible to get into a slightly better position. Instead, I wait here, I go, oh, T-54, that's fine. And then it's like, oh, I've been spotted. It wasn't the T-54. Who was it? Oh, it's two tank destroyers that basically want to rip me to pieces. So there we go. I take a whole load of damage. Then the T-54 comes up and puts some in me. And it's this point, you know, you just go, why didn't I just move earlier? I should have just gone and faced the T-54 earlier and avoided that 1,000 damage that I took from the... oh, here's a game. This wound the hell out of me. Look at our Leo. Sat on that hill all freaking game and then just ran off. Freaking frustrating. Get some right morons in this game. Here you go. T49, tier 8 T49. He put a load of damage into me there. And again, I pushed a bit too aggressively in this game. Got surrounded, and you're doomed. You're just doomed. And that Leopard PTA that came with me did naff all as well. And this was another game that I'd flanked all the way around after making a bit of a run for it, and this E100 totally called me out. Now, it was a bit of retribution because in the previous game I got him and his platoon mate. Totally whooped him, but he totally whooped me that game, so fair play. And again here, thought I was fairly safe. I got a back chat with me. The back chat just naffed off, and it all went south for me very quickly. And it does in this tank. It can go south for you really, really quickly. And it's just, it can just catch you out because you've got no hull armour to speak of whatsoever. Flat maps are not your friend, so Himmelsdorf for this tank is not a fun place at all. Whereas Canals is brilliant. There's enough ridge lines, there's enough places to actually go and work your magic. So this, you know, unfortunately I haven't recorded all my matches, but it's great as this map for this tank. So coming from the other side, I was sat where the Jag Tiger is now. The Jag Tiger is now, and quite happily do 5,500 damage to reds just by sitting in that position and playing with them with the gun depression that you've got and the turret that you've got. On this game, here we go. So there's three of them there. You can see the gun depression. It's just immense. It's just such an enjoyable tank to play in these situations because nothing can get near it so long as you don't expose yourself too much. So here's an instance. I just exposed myself too much. and it's knowing that line of where to go to, and playing with that. So, you know, play with people, just get to a point that you know that they can't pen you on that turret, and just properly peek. Don't try and go too far down them to try and get to the soft hull. You know, use a bit of promo if you have to, just to get people irate, because it just works so well. And it reverses pretty quickly, that's the other thing. It's not the fastest reverse, but it gives you enough pace to be able to pull out. Now, this is one of my favourite spots on any map, really. If you can get here early enough and your team doesn't act like a complete and utter group of morons, this is just a sensational place to be for this tank, because as you can see, there isn't much above your gun in terms of turret, and there isn't much below, so you can literally just absolutely skim a ridge or a wall and still get your gun clearance over it to be able to play with it. And this is just the best place. So it's just use a little bit of manoeuvrability and a little bit of play, and you can just play with the gun. It's just brilliant. At the same time, the gun is so troll at times. I mean, sometimes you just wonder where the shells go on this gun. I haven't got vertical stabilizer installed yet, but you know, we'll wait and see. So there was an FV just bouncing off the turret, so showing that a good tier 10 can bounce off. And we've just stayed here and we've just worked that ridge line and just playing around with the side of the wall now. The E100's there, the FV is gonna come around. So I've moved around a little bit just to play. I'm a bit concerned about the E100 behind me, but it's there you go. E100 got me. Can't have it all, but we've got such numbers now that I'm not too worried, because my greens are pushing up on that E100. So I'm just going to play with this FV a little bit to keep him occupied, and you know, just keep that turret moving, and it's just sensational. Such a fun tank when you get it in the right position. Get in the wrong position, you've seen on a few games, it's awful. It's just a recipe for disaster. See, I looked around there, I was a little bit slow there, so I got tagged by him. I went to see what was happening with the E100, and yeah, it's my fault again. There, I just shot into the wall. It's great. But this guy wants me. He really does want me. So I'm going to just hit, move out the way. I'm not still, you know, even though we're coming up to end game, I'm not going to give away my health hit points too easily. But that's it. Sensational place to play this tank. And this is another game of playing ridgelines. Literally any map on this other than Himmelsdorf, which I hate, is there's always a place to play this tank. So there I bounced one, and I thought at this point, I bounced one off that SU. I mean, at this point I thought, right, RNG has got it in for me this game and we're doomed. But managed to get one in the T54. See, pen is good. You don't need APCR to pen the front of a T54, even if that the upper hull is slightly angled upwards. So here comes the back chat on his push, bounce. I bounced one of him, that was stupid. I managed to get a nudge on him. Another bash on him. I just think, no, he's not getting away with this. Boom, thank you. Back to normal play, apart from right now. I wasn't really looking. That T54 managed to get one in me because he's been sat there waiting. That is the problem with this tank. You can sit on a ridge and you can play it incredibly well. I've got a T30 just behind me, who should clear that out. There we go. You still T95. So this is how to get rid of a T95 in this tank. It's just sublime. Look at this. It's like, boom, okay. And watch this next shot. Oh, no. Oh, yeah. So it's not quite yet. I'm getting ahead of myself. AT-15, pop one in him just to make him think twice about pushing on my rear. And then look at this. Look at that. All you need to see is those two top turrets, top commander's hatches, and it's boom. Absolutely phenomenal. Enjoyed this game so much. Look, there we go again. You hardly have to expose yourself. I mean, I'd be surprised if the tanks could even see any of me from there. Yeah, I missed a shot there because he's angling upwards. He's still coming over the top. T-54. See, I take a shot. This is the problem with this gun. Every so often, it just throws an absolute curveball. I pushed over because I knew the T-30 was behind, so at least I had some cover. And then I can come back over and finish off that T-95. It's all about the ridge lines, and every game you'll see, it's just all about pushing the ridge lines. And here we are on, I can't remember what this one's called. We've already been and flanked and cleared out the PTA and the object on red. And again, we just found a nice position here that we can just head over. I've not got enough depression to get onto that IS-7. But it just offers me a position that they're not going to fly out at me. And you see, it's just like you can see somebody's lining up. You've not got a big target, so as soon as you move, they're going to miss you. And that's all you have to do, just keep moving. And then they think, well, I'm not going to get them. I'm going to move off and go on concentrating on the target, which then gives you the opportunity to move in. Great game this. I'm going to hand it out to the FV that's there in the centre of this shot, FV4202. He or she had a sensational game from BHBP, is it? Whatever. But, you know, I just, tier 10, I played support, used the ridge lines, didn't lose any health, and kept myself in a healthy position in case there was a need for me later on to actually put myself in line. And, you know, the thing is, some people will say it's quite selfish to play second line, especially if you're top tier, like in this game. But I don't think it is when you're in a tank that is really susceptible to being in a frontline position. So, you know, I will play it second line as in a tier 10 grade, and even in tier 9 as top tier, I'll play it definitely second line or support or joint front line until I know that we're in a decent position, that I feel more confident to push forward and play it front line. So here we are in Vineyards, and you know, nearly all of my team is ahead of me, and yeah, I'm the top tier tank. And I'm just taking the opportunities as they come up to pretty much snipe. I mean, I don't know how many of these I actually spotted in the first instance with my view range, but it's working out. I'm not pausing too long between shots. If I haven't got a shot, now I've not got a shot, so I'm starting to move. See someone come up at the rear, so I come back again, get rid of them. But you know, that's the thing. If I don't have a shot on and I've waited a few seconds, then I will move on and try and find another target. But I'm not going to do anything reckless. Now this, just coming up, is an absolute gem. This is an absolute perfection of just look at this gun depression to get this M103. Look at that. How many medium tanks at tier 9 can do that? just absolutely brilliant. Now I took the half ball, take one from the Panther, but it can't side straight from me because the pen on this gun is reasonable enough to be able to play with it, and then shoot straight up, surprising straight out, pop one in. M103's been dispatched with at this point. And we just move on to the last tank. And again, this is, I think the T-54 takes a pop at me here as I come over this crest. And again, I get a bounce. Yeah, there we go. I only get the ram damage. So it does bounce some tank shots quite nicely. There's 4 or 5 examples probably hidden away in videos of doing that. So here we are, tier 10 battle on mines. Again, just pushing that ridgeline and using the ridgeline. Sometimes getting up onto the mines where there are object and our whatever other tank, T62 is it? What's up there? Object and T62, yeah. It's actually a disadvantaged place to be because if you don't have decent gun depression, it's hard to get down on these guys. Plus, if you've got any campers at red spawn, they're going to be firing up at you. So this place is just great. Come down, take a shot, back up again. Works an absolute treat. Now, I think camo reset is about 10 seconds, isn't it? Reload on this tank is 8.3 or 8.9. So you know that you've got to wait a little bit after your actual reload for your actual camo to reset, but it's not too bad really. Come back up. See there, I went a little bit too high in order to get to the IS-7 lower glasses, so I managed to get a shot on me. And that was pretty much my own fault, but you know, I don't mind. I'm not really sustained any damage up to then. And then push over. IS-7 managed to reverse into the way of that, typically. And then it's just kind of a turkey shoot from here on in. But you know, if you can get to a ridgeline early and start popping the shots over, and you know, although it's not high alpha, the rate of fire is enough to make people think twice about pushing up to actually attack that ridgeline. So it works really well. And generally, as if individuals come up, you and the team can take care of them. The biggest problem, as I said before, is if you get isolated in this tank, and that's when it also goes a little bit wrong. So I think we'll finish here on a mastery game, which surprised me actually. I'm not entirely sure that this is deserving of a mastery, this game, but it was fun. And it's got some proper examples of how to use the tank kind of in it. It's also got some examples of stupidity like here. So push right because we've got a numerical advantage on the mediums, and I can't explain that shot. That was pretty rubbish. I come back down. No, I'm still got knock-on shot on that object. Even with 10 degrees gun depression, it's not the best place just here. Great for spotting, but oh, I spotted him again. He's making a run for it. Right. Am I going to go up? Yeah, push up, take a shot. I'd class that as a fairly lucky shot, really. And then I hang around until our actual tier 10s have moved a little bit further forward, and I know that there's no other tanks up there. So come up. The tank's in the way. We'll get a bit of a lucky fire going in the object, and then quite luckily for us, their back chat is AFK. So quite happily take a couple of shots into him. At this point, I'm not going to hang around and try and wait for that last shot. I'm not going to get it. So carry on shooting up. So we got the flank. We get a bit of complainy pots from our team for letting them down. Noobs, etc, 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 as you do. Should have been ready for that little tiny snapshot, but I wasn't. At this point I start to get a bit panicked because they're going to start pulling back round. Now there is actually, this is when I actually spot there's another AMX 30 in this, which is also on full health. For some reason that panicked me a little bit, because I think this was the first game that I actually saw another AMX 30. I was a little bit unsure of what to expect. So here we go. This just shows the working ridgeline. So that mouse just couldn't hit me. I'd obviously just had virtually nothing showing. That's a pretty rubbish shot by me. But that's the way it goes. So this little ridge here, I'm gonna pull up, and yeah, I'm not going to get into that now. So shoot his tracks instead. I'm not going to change to Pramo just for a shot on the hopeful side. So here we go. Here's the AMX. Get one in him. And then here, as he's coming over ridgeline, let's just have a look at this slowly. And let's put him behind a wall or a ridge. No, not Trump behind a wall. Let's put the tank behind a wall. There. So let's pretend I'm on a hill. That's what you get to see. There isn't much to hit there, especially if you're at a tiny bit of a distance. So that shows the armour profile is pretty damn good. He bounces one off me, I get another one off him on him when he comes down the ridge. Bounces another, I get one in, the object gets one in. So, you know, all's fair in love and war. He goes down without doing me any damage. I'll take that any day of the week. So we'll move back up this ridge. I'm hardly showing anything to that Yog Tiger, so the chance of him hitting me is very, very low. I can just continue to put some in him. So it's a nice simple situation where we're a tank up at the minute, so fairly confident at this point, and we've got an FV. The FV was chuntering along earlier as well, so sounds like we had a really happy group of campers on this in this game on our team. IS-7 had a pop. The E100 had a pop. Do we have an E100? I can't even read. Another tank had a pop. The mouse has popped, and everybody's popped, and everybody can go home. So that's it. So overall, the tank, a lot of fun. Speed is good. Pickup isn't as great as you'd expect it to be. Gun handling is surprising at times. Can be a lot of fun, or it can be hugely frustrating. And just play it as a ridgeline warrior. And there we go. Thanks for watching, everyone.